Am I allowed to say?
I don't know, I'm asking.
The internet, I can neither confirm nor deny, is correct.
Good answer.
Hello, my name is Fiorella and I am the creative lead for Lego Arts. My first ever set is Lego Arts Mickey Mouse. It was both challenging but also it was a relatively intuitive project to do. My background's in graphic design, actually. I have background in English literature and graphic design, and so I tend to overthink a lot of things. But in terms of looking at it from a graphical point of view, and this is what I really love about Lego Arts, is that, you know, from a graphical point of view, it's just like, how do we look at, like, you know, the hierarchy of information that we're putting up onto the piece, the composition itself, the colours, the tones. So that was fairly intuitive, but the tricky part was also, of course, making sure that we could render a real, true likeness of Mickey Mouse. And of course, we're working with bricks, and even when it's like the round, one by one round tiles, it's still pixelated. So how do you create that really, really perfectly curved form, you know, from the nose and the ears and the face? So that was pretty tricky, and I think we found our way around it through just using different colour tiles to kind of simulate curvature. So you didn't get really hard, jagged, janky edges along the way. But that was a really, really fun sort of project to start on, actually. With the Mickey Mouse sets, we were relatively lucky that their colour palettes is more or less the same. I mean, it's like, you know, their heads and the background, we kept the backgrounds sort of like connected. If you've got the Mickey Mouse set, you know that as you build two sets together, you can combine and form the Mickey Mouse ears in the background, right? The colour palette was relatively pretty much the same, apart from the red. The tones of red in her dress in Minnie Mouse. So it is a balance, making sure that there isn't too much extra elements on the side, but that one was probably the easiest one to solve. So yeah, I think I got lucky with that one. The one after that was probably the world map. That's my second set, and it's also the piece with the largest piece count in LEGO history, which I love talking to Rock about. But it's a really, really fun set because, I mean, like, the brief was, how do we make a world map out of LEGO? And there were so many different ways we can go about it. And I think the version we ended with is the perfect solution to creating an artful interpretation of the world map, where it gave enough creative levers and, you know, still have the Lego fun element to it, but still had a fair amount of logic and science behind it. The bathymetric mapping of the ocean floor, and, you know, just looking at the projection that we went for, we had to do a lot of research into understanding what was the most appropriate direction to take. So learnt huge amounts about, you know, geoscaping and so on. But yeah, that was my second one, and was definitely a very daunting task to create such a big art piece. At that kind of resolution, it was really, really hard to kind of feature all the tiny islands around, you know, the Pacific Ocean. And, you know, there are some islands around certain countries that it just, you know, at that resolution we just can't fit in. So we kind of made a general rule: when it's, you know, smaller than a certain size, we just can't feature it. So that's really what we had to go with. So again, logic was our guide with that one. So that was a fairly good rule to make, which is just to follow logic.
You mentioned in the design video for that set there's an Easter egg hidden in the ocean.
Yes.
The internet thinks it knows what it is, but can you confirm for us?
Am I allowed to say?
I don't know, I'm asking.
I don't know. I have, like, I mean, it's been out there for some time now, and I'd like to think there's still someone out there just thinking, like, where is that Easter egg along the way? The internet, I can neither confirm nor deny, is correct.
Good answer. You mentioned Rock. How does he feel about you having the biggest piece count?
He is absolutely fine. He's also created like some of the most beautiful architecture sets as well. Like, you know, I'm a huge fan of his, and of course, you know, in the team it's always really, really fun to have like some sort of like fun jibes here and there. But yeah, I think it's only a matter of time though before he beats me. The next set is a Lego art project, and that was such a special project because it was really something that we were trying out, something so new. And you may realise that, you know, almost with every single set that I've done along the way, it seems that I've been really fortunate enough to just kind of push the envelope a little bit along the way in what Lego Art can do, and that's the benefit of being such a young franchise, right? So with that one there, it's actually aimed at families and at a slightly younger audience as well. We want to welcome into the Lego Art experience, and we really, really wanted to see when, you know, because really when we build the Lego Art sets, we have like the 16 by 16 canvas plates, and when you build that, it really lends itself so well to just having one plate each. And then you can, and that's how I build at home with my family. That's how we did it when we did the world map. And it was like, hey, this is so great for social building experiences. So it made sense for this to be like a family set. It's an MDP, which is a market-driven product for Target. Actually, it was part of a much bigger, gorgeous collection that we did with them. And the brief was actually to create a family set, and canvas plate lent itself so well. So with that set, you have 9 canvas plates where you have up to 9 people building at the same time. Super fun. We had lots of fun creating the icons, and I had a great giggle with our designers, which was Kit and Anna at the time, where we were looking up, like, you know, what are the different themes? There's food themes, there's emojis, there's, you know, sports and different passion points along the way, and just creating, like, you know, this huge array. We had to really whittle down the amount of iconography that we were able to use, but just creating that whole new experience in that was super fun. And I hope families out there got to really enjoy it. I was the creative lead for that set, and Kit, our designer, did an amazing job at, you know, creating, like, you know, when we talked about, like, you know, creating that curve, just using, like, softening the colours along the way so you don't have such a hard contrast in every, so you end up seeing a janky edge. She just did such a perfect job at softening the curve and, you know, creating the illusion of shine. Yeah, really nice piece. You have these, like, kind of like potentially janky edges, but then when you soften it, like I think with Mickey Mouse we had like black or the lighter colours against like a contrasting colour background. But if you have just that to create a curve, you're never going to get a curve. But if you soften it with like a dark brown, or, you know, of course then you have like the issue with like the colours being too close together. I think that's where it gets tricky, but that's where the numbering comes in. I think that was one of the first sets that we introduced, like the colour palettes in there to help people really find the colours that they can kind of line to. Is this a dark brown or is it a black? Is it a dark blue? You know, along the way. But yeah, it was really fun actually working with those colours. Yeah, we weren't sure at first because we had black borders, and does that become like the defining, you know, feature of Lego Arts? But really, when we came down to it, it's like, well, actually lots of people have white walls, and some people prefer to have white frames. And it was, when we looked into it and did some rough research, it was just, actually it was a fairly 50-50 divide. I only have white frames in my home, and when I have black frames in my home, when I put up like the earlier Lego Art sets, and it suddenly looks really heavy. So why not start offering a variety, and actually also see the frames also as a part of the canvas itself rather than just a frame. What you'll see is that as we kind of like moved on, we can see that we can start looking at what we're offering to the consumer, and every single piece that we did, we kind of like nudged the envelope a little bit more. Can we try it in this way? Can we try it in this way? And we can see that the dotting, you know, this kind of like tiling by number proposition really resonated with some audiences, and for some audiences it was a bit of a challenge. So what we wanted to see is that, you know, we noticed that the brick is a perfect artistic medium, and we really need to utilise this a bit more, and it's Lego Art at the end of the day. So can we kind of try using more variety of bricks and actually diversify our our building techniques a little bit more. And so when we were briefed to do the Rolling Stones sets, I think that was the perfect opportunity to do it. It didn't make sense for that to be in a mosaic. So, you know, we took the most iconic music logo of all time, brought it in, and just imagine, it's like, what if it actually looked like the tongue was sticking out? What if you can actually see this in dimension? What if it had no frame and you can just see this popping out as you would do? And really took a more rock and roll approach to this set. And I think actually you guys have done a fantastic review of this a while back, and it was captured the sentiment entirely, you know. So thank you, actually, because that was exactly our intention. And so after that one, we realised that we can just continue to surprise and delight our builders and our audience along the way. There's so many different ways in which we can express an art piece, right? So if we dig deep into understanding what the message is and what the story is, then we can use the brick to help us emphasise it. And after that one, we realised that, my gosh, we can do so much and we shouldn't stop there. And I think that we can also see from our consumers and our audience that choice and options and giving some creative levers is really key for some of the new audiences that were coming into Lego. So then after that, we also had the Floral Arts piece, where it seems simple at first, but actually it's an incredibly intelligent colour palette of just 8 colours. But no matter what arrangement, you have like 3 motifs, but you can swap those colours around, and no matter what you do, those colours will still work. So you can make pink flowers or yellow flowers with the pink backgrounds, or you can put the blue leaves on instead of the green, and you can swap them around and it will just work. And that was a real exercise in colour theory to really make those 8 colours work hard. And you can, I think we experimented, we put up 15 different variations that you can do with Floral Arts, but actually you can do a lot more with it. Then after that, we came to the Great Wave, and the story of that one is really, like, again, building upon like the Rolling Stones. We realised that we needed to, I don't know if you've built the Rolling Stones, for those out there who've yet to build it, they'll realise that the building instructions we have is a mix of mosaicing and standard building instructions that we have there. That's a new thing for us. Again, we're trying to push the envelope and surprise the audience with something a bit different. And with the Great Wave, we realised that actually, now that we can do that, let's see what else we can do. And we had this concept sketch from Nico and Milan hanging in our area for some time, where we've been talking about it in Lego Art for some time in terms of how can we really utilise the brick as a creative medium to make something really stand out, to use the brick to tell the story. And then they simultaneously had also been doing some thinking and put this up on the wall, and I was like, oh, what is that? What is that? Who's this? Who made this? Like someone. And then these guys came up and said, yeah, well, we just kind of gave it a try. What do you think? And I was like, we love it. It was quite raw at the time, but it was just that the concept stood out in terms of like that completely encapsulated what we've been looking for. So after Floral Arts, we went with the Great Wave, and I'm delighted that it's finally out in the market now, because we've been having so much fun working with it. The whole design journey for this one has been an absolute joy. I've been Fiorella. These are my iconic sets. If you'd like to hear more, feel free to subscribe to Fanatics. They've been great.